Thank you for joining us today at Homestead for Life. Today we are going to use some table scraps to grow some vegetables. We are going to grow some potatoes that grew eyes on them. So for instance, we've got this potato with a couple good eyes. This one with one really good eye. And then some that I cut the eyes off and sat a little bit too long in my kitchen. So those may or may not grow, but the eyes still look pretty good. So we're gonna try. When you're planting potatoes, you want to plant them with the eyes up. The eyes are not roots. They are the plant that is going to grow from it. The roots are actually in the potato. It is using the potato as a fuel source for the plant. I'm planting these a lot closer together than I normally would if I'd gone and bought seed potatoes, because I don't think all of these are going to grow. Some of them dried out a little bit too much. But we are going to try anyway, because worst case scenario, they build up the soil as they break down. So just adding to our compost here. So we're getting our eye potatoes, our seed potatoes, all spread out. And then we're going to throw a little bit of soil on top of them. A little bit of our our potting mix. And then as these grow, as these start growing and start throwing up bigger shoots, we're going to add more and more soil. We're going to build them up as if they're in mounds, because what's going to happen is we add more soil up, it's going to grow more potatoes in that new soil. So we want to keep adding the soil. So you'll notice this big old pot is only about half full. So I can add soil and mound these up several times before my pot's going to be full. And then at the end of the season, I can just dump my pot out to get to my plants, to get to my potatoes. And that's all there is for growing potatoes. Alright, so our potatoes have grown and then died back. So today we are going to try and harvest some potatoes. Now we should have done this a few weeks ago when the potato plants first started dying back, but we've been busy and didn't get to it. Now the problem with that is that if you wait too long, your potatoes will start to decompose and then you lose your potatoes. So we're going to see what we've got left in here. One of the reasons we did these in a big tub like this is to make it easier to harvest the potatoes. So what we're going to do is we're going to tip this whole bucket over and then weed through and get all the potatoes out. Okay, so tipped over, and then we just kind of dig through and look for potatoes. Waiting so long, there's probably not all that many. So this is our harvest. Pretty pathetic. I think I planted more potatoes than this. And I know I had more than this growing because as they would start showing themselves, I would start adding more dirt and burying them. Covering them up so the plant would continue to grow up and grow more potatoes from the stems. So leaving them this long, when the plant first started dying back, that was the time to harvest them. Potatoes do not thrive on neglect. You have to pay attention to them. When they're ready to be harvested, that's it. Otherwise, those potatoes, they start rotting in the ground, the bugs start eating through them, and you end up with 4 baby potatoes. So learn from our mistakes.